online like this, or it can be relationships on the phone, it can be relationships sending videos. We can build and support those relationship building strategies in a range of different ways. Even having children do a painting and or do some writing, or you know, you do the writing, they do the drawing, and send that off to relations or send it to their friends. Like old school, you know, it's snail mail. So let's go old school and make those connections like we used to. Building that attachment, making sure that children have a primary carer that they feel safe with, and they know who they've got their back, they're going to support them. We as adults need to model social and emotional well-being too. So we need to practice self-care. We need to model accepting compliments to build our own self-esteem and build our own confidence. We need to coach children sometimes around their emotions. So we need to actually say, I can see you're feeling really sad because I notice that you're crying, or I see that you've got a big smile on your face, you must be really happy. And teach children what these emotions are, because it doesn't always come naturally to know this. We build that culture of respect where we value what children are saying. So we actually make eye contact and link eyes, smile, and actively listen to children. And that allows them to feel valued and wanted and cared for and feel safe. And it's also stimulating that culture of respect. Now we need to, as adults, also remember ourselves in this big picture and offer ourselves some self-love. So take some time out to do something that you really like to do. So a little reward for you. Build some nice practices into your weekly life, and model that for your children, that you take time out to do something nice for you. If you can, go out into nature, go for a walk, even if you're just sitting on a balcony, look at the clouds and, you know, make pictures out of the clouds, or just let the sun shine on your face or on your body. Connecting with nature is a great leveler, and that helps to ground us and help us to feel more relaxed and calm and secure when we're building on our well-being strategies and our wellness strategies. So, in summary, we've got social and emotional wellness, links to social and emotional learning, and finding that balance between the two, and the balance in our life is what's going to get us through these COVID times, so that we are actually connecting our heart, our body and our mind, so that we are physically distancing, not socially distancing. So I hope that answers the question, Dr. VASAVVI.
Yes, Dr. KATHRYN, very beautifully. And yes, I believe that, like you truly said, that children have developed their self-esteem and confidence from the people, from the environment that they are in, and they kind of, you know, understand what they are through how people see them. So it's very essential that we give them their due, the due respect, that love, and even initiate them into understanding their emotions, managing them, balancing them, and you know, kind of accepting also to some extent. So it is more about adaptability and flexibility, and this is how, you know, parents and our educators can guide us. But when we talk about educators, even now the educators are trying to you know, get used to this new normal of this remote learning process, right? We are now doing our learning remotely, which was basically a very one-to-one at one point of time when we used to go to our classrooms. So they are also dealing with all of that, and they have their own pressure, be it at home or, you know, generally like everyone else. So how do you think they can balance that, you know, the remote learning and that connection that they need to, again, have with the children through a remote learning platform?
I think it comes back to having a range of different strategies, and where, you know, making those connections, as I said, you know, with sharing videos or picking up the phone and speaking to people on the phone, doing those sorts of things to balance that online. Because when we're working so much like this, in this format, yeah, you can see each other, but it's not quite the same as being in person, is it? I don't think any of us here are saying, yeah, this is the same as us all being in a room together. So it's not the same. So you have to supplement it with some additional ways to connect. So a phone call, so sending a video, maybe actually writing something and sending it in the mail. But also taking care of yourself to make sure that those people who you can face-to-face connect with, that you do that you make the time for yourself to see your friends or see your family as much as you can. And also I really want to encourage everybody to just go out into nature and just look at the trees and
Absolutely.
look at the sky and you know, just calm yourself like that and make those connections.
Yes, Dr. KATHRYN beautifully answered. And I think this is most relevant. That is what we can do as of now, and probably, you know, till everything settles down, until we are back to school. But I'll come to KARI. KARI has been working with children and stakeholders to foster positive child mental health. So KARI, how can we build positive mental health in the early childhood years? So can you share some strategies and ideas that educators can use to lay the foundation of positive mental health using the online platform?
Absolutely, VASAVVI. I will actually share my screen if that's okay, and we will start there. Because early childhood is the bedrock for positive mental health. It's where it starts. And I guess that's one of my, as Dr. Kathy was talking about, we lay the foundations when our children are little. And this is early childhood educators, it's parents, all of the people on this call. We actually have the ability to lay those firm foundations from when our children are really little. And I guess that's something that I want to stress for people, is that you have the most important job in the world, because, and I don't say this lightly, you touch the future every day when you're working with children in early childhood. And these past few months have changed that completely. When we look at what's gone on with COVID and you look at what's happened, COVID has really changed how we interact. As Dr. Kathy was saying, we're now doing a lot more of this. Our learning is online, like you've spoken about, Dr. VASAVVI, and the possible impacts that are made on children, particularly young children's mental health and well-being at the moment. There's an increased level of fear, an increased level of anxiety and worry, and feelings of disconnection. Very much like Dr. Kathy was saying, we've had to physically distance ourselves, and that's often come out to be socially distanced as well. And to be really honest, we can't socially distance because we are herd animals. As humans, we want to connect. And this is one of the things that is really critically important. And that's, I commented when Kathy was speaking about, that's a critical distinction. It's physically distancing, but it's not, we need to stay socially connected. So some of the things that your educators and parents may be seeing happen, there could be more irritability. So if you were looking at to look at how children have been impacted, particularly little people, they may snap more. We may snap more as adults as well, but they may be more snappy. They could be more irritable. They could be more, much more clingy and have separation anxiety. You may see that. Some parents and educators may see that there's regression. So they may drop back into old habits or behaviors that you haven't seen for a long time. I know some of the children that I'm working with have bitten people. So they've turned back to biting, or they've unfortunately started wetting the bed again. So all of these things are normal. When there's significant change and significant upheaval, which there has been, and this is a world event, it's not just in one country, this is around the world. And what they've been picking up, as you said when we started, they're picking up the angst. They're feeling that. They're emotional little beings, and they're feeling it and taking that on board. Their sleeping and eating patterns may have changed as well, and that's a way for parents or educators to know something's wrong. And one of the things that I've found with some of the children I've been working with remotely, they're very worried about elderly relatives and about people they care about, because what they've heard is that there's this disease out there that's killing people. And even small children will have picked up on this information from the media. And that's one of the strategies that I'm going to talk about next. So ultimately, and I'm not saying that one child would have had all of these things. It's just, these are some of the key giveaways that a parent might go, you know, actually they do seem a little more anxious. They might be a little more fearful. And the feelings of disconnection, some of our really little people can't say that, but they will show it in their behavior. And that's, so if their behavior's changed since this lockdown's happened or since COVID's occurred, you can understand why, because even as adults, our behavior has changed. So it's really looking and understanding, we need to be the safe, secure pair of hands that has them. We're holding them through this and we're guiding them through it. And that's the next critical point. So what can we do? As Kathy was saying, she's touched on several of the points, but one of the last ones is connection. The first one I really want to talk about is acknowledge, validate, and empathize with their feelings. So if they're, as Kathy said, whether it's emotional coaching, whether you look at the child's face and say, you look really angry at the moment, or they could be really disappointed. There have been, in the past 2-3 months, there have been birthday parties they've missed out on. There have been school things they've been missed out on. There have been things at the early childhood setting that they've missed out on. That's disappointing. And for a child, that can be so overwhelming. So when they do lash out sometimes, or when they do express these behaviors and present challenging behaviors, one of the things we can do is exactly what Kathy said, and that is acknowledge their feelings and say, your face is looking really sad. You don't have to solve it for them. We're not about solving it. It's to say, it's okay to feel sad. At the moment, I feel sad too. I've missed out on doing things with my friends and I'm sad. And you know what? When it's sad, sometimes it's nice just to sit together. So whether you can do that physically as an educator with the students you're working with, or whether you just give them the space, because it's actually being willing to give children the space to feel what they feel. They have every right to feel those emotions, just like we're going through a roller coaster of emotions at the moment. And what we need to do is validate them. Because can you imagine if you came home from work one day, or if you were saying something and you've been stuck inside? So imagine this, you're stuck inside and you say to your significant other, your partner, or somebody who cares about you, oh yeah, I'm really disappointed about that. And then they said to you, come on, hurry up, buckle up. Yep, it's all right. Get over it. You'll get to do that next year. How would you feel? You'd most probably feel really annoyed. And that's often what we do with children. What we look at is saying we want them to get over it quickly, because it's quite uncomfortable to sit in discomfort sometimes. But we need to be able to validate our children's emotions and say, you know what? Absolutely, you have the right to feel that way, and I am willing to sit here with you. We don't let them stew in it forever and ever. We then help them and coach them and move them through it. And that's the next point, which is helping them find positive ways to express their feelings. So for some children I work with, if they get really angry, it's ripping paper. For other children I work with, it could be, as Kathy said, there may be painting or drawing. It's things that we need to find as family members or as educators, and we know that this is how they can get their emotions out in a positively healthy way, rather than kicking the cat or hurting their siblings or doing things like that. It's understandable that sometimes children may feel like doing that, but what we need to be able to do is to really say, you know what, I can see you're really angry. Sometimes it's good to go outside and run around. So getting into nature, like Kathy said, going outside, spending time, possibly running around, doing star jumps or things like that. It's finding positive ways to get those emotions out, because it's when they sit and stew in those emotions that you will generally get blow-ups in behavior. The next one is connection, and Kathy talked about this as well. And it is critically important because children, if they have extended time with their families, they sometimes feel that, you know, I can't see grandma and grandpa, I can't see the extra people I care about in my life. And they become very sad about that. And they often worry about them when they can't see them physically and have those hugs or have that contact, because we love those. And particularly children love that contact. When they're missing that, acknowledge it and see if you can, as Kathy said, whether it be phone calls, whether it be Skype, using your mobile phone to Skype somebody or get online, whatever it is, find ways that children can connect and make that time, whether it be, and I know in different countries around the world, I've seen teachers actually making sure they're still physically distancing, but some even go and leave notes for the children at their schools. So at their homes, teachers have taken that on themselves. Some have done drive-bys in their cars. Whatever it is, making sure that those children know that you love them, that they're cared for, you haven't forgotten them. Because some of the kids I'm working with at the moment, some of the children have said, what if they forget me? We've been away for this long. Are people going to forget me? And that's a real worry and a fear that they may not be able to articulate when they're really little. The other thing is giving them a sense how we can help. One of the biggest ways we can help is giving them a sense of power and control. And what I mean by that is allowing them to say, you know what? We can't visit grandma and grandpa, but what we can do, would you like to write a letter? Would you like to make up a play and I can video it on our phone and then we can send it to as a movie? Giving them some sense of control, because what that does, that empowers them. And exactly what Kathy was talking about before with the social and emotional learning and the social and emotional well-being, them having a sense of, you know what, I can do something to help other people. I can do something to make grandma and grandpa smile. I can do something to help whether it be giving food away, whatever it is. When they feel like they can do something positive, that's significantly beneficial for their mental health and well-being. And it gives them a focus rather than just focusing on themselves and on their worries. It puts the focus outside and is how we can help others. So ultimately, it's looking at them, how we can really help as parents and educators, in summary, is acknowledge their feelings, understand that just like us, they'll be going through that roller coaster of emotions, validate it, because you know as an adult, or we know as adults how it feels when you don't get validated. And make sure that you help them find healthy ways to express those feelings. Because ultimately, what I really want to leave you with is the fact that as the adults, we are the ones in the driver's seat. We're the ones that are the safe pair of hands, and our children are the passengers. So we really have to make sure that we take care of them and give them the loving support and guidance they need to keep their positive mental health and well-being throughout this crisis. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Kari. Yes, we'll be taking questions, but probably at the end of the webinar. So yes, somebody asked me that, can we ask some questions? Yes, definitely. And we'll be taking them as soon as we finish this. But Kari, this is very well explained and beautiful, wonderful strategies, I guess, which is going to be really, really helpful. And I particularly like that self-worth bit, you know, that children should understand that they're worthy of positive contribution to the, you know, to the circle they are in, to the environment they are in, or, you know, to their extended family. So it's very important to understand that, yes.
It is, Dr. VASAVVI.
Yeah, so that's very crucial, because the moment you understand that, you start becoming more responsible, you start becoming, you know, more, you can act in a better way. So thank you, Kari. So coming to our next speaker, CHITRA VERMA. CHITRA, you've been working with children and parents. So I would want to put up this question to you, like, what can parents do at this time for the overall development of their children? We call it the holistic development. So what what are the things that they can do according to you? Because children are now most of the time with the parents. Yes.
Exactly. First of all, thank you, VASAVVI, for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Lovely to have you here.
Yeah, actually, this is really an important topic on which we are discussing here today. Basically, parent role is most important nowadays. We adults are thinking that we are the only one who are facing this difficult time and problems are with us only. But the main thing is that the children are also facing the same situation. They are also struggling. Why? Because they are not enjoying their normal life they were doing earlier. There were so many activities they are missing. So I want to share my screen and show you something. How child's normal life is impacted nowadays, their mental health, their social life, how it is impacted due to this. Basically, children are affected by physical distancing, quarantines, and nationwide school closures. The harsh reality is that nowadays we are just using a term social distancing. I am totally agreed with Kari and Kathy that why we are using this term, although it is not basically good for kids because they are not understanding the exact meaning of this. Instead of using this, we should say physical distancing and we should tell them what is the meaning of this. Daily we are saying wear mask, use sanitizer, maintain social distancing, do this, but we are not actually explaining them what is the reason behind that. And especially now the schools are closed, so still they are feeling very much disconnected with their friends, from their teachers, educators. So now their normal life is not going on. They are also struggling. So we should understand that. And they are the they are on that stage where they can't express themselves. And we are not even asking them ki, why are you feeling isolated? Why are you disturbed? And why there is a lot of change in your behavior. And they won't able to express themselves from their side only. We should ask them and we should understand this. Children and young people may feeling more isolated and anxious, bored and uncertain because still they are not enjoying their life they were using previously. Children may start feeling fear and grief over the impact of the virus on their families. Whenever we wake up in the morning, we always just switch on the TV and what is coming on the, in our televisions. Of course, the news related to corona, and these people are dying, these number of people are just feel sick, their condition in this part of the country is not good. So these news are definitely affecting the child, so we should keep them away from all these things. This is the biggest role of the parents they can play right now. We are thinking yes, now child at home and we are doing our best, but no, according to me there is some other who is playing a role of their best friend. So who is that best friend in this pandemic situation? Of course the gadgets. Why? Because they are spending a lot of time online only. If they are attending their classes, if they are attending their sessions, we have engaged our child in so many activities, so all the activities are going on online. This is the only reason they are spending much time on their gadgets only with a mobile laptop, and it is completely affecting their health. Secondly, if they are feeling bored and they ask to meet their friends, so we give the mobile to the child and ask them ki, okay, just do some video calls or chats with your friend or the relative, whether the grandparents and some other relatives are there. Still they are online. Last but not the least, they are doing their activities, whether fun activities related to gross motor skills, fun motor skills, or any other activities which is going outside. We have enrolled our child on those activities, and these activities are still going on online. So here our role is we are just disconnecting ourselves from with our child. So we need to be them. This is the time, this is the best time when we can show that yes, we are with you. Initially we all were very happy, even kids were happy and we parents were happy. Okay, now we got some time to spend with our family, we got some time to spend with our kids, we are at home. This is the main thing. Okay, we are at home. But with the passage of time, we are feeling bored. We are feeling why when this lockdown is going to be over. And the harsh reality is that even we are not aware about it, when it is going to be stopped. So here I'm having some tips for the parents. You need to be more vigilant, you need to be more active with your kids. Then only you can give safe and secure life to your child, so that it won't affect their mental health, it won't affect their social life, it won't affect them emotionally. So what we can do, first of all, you have to reassure your child that you are safe, you are secure, nothing is going to happen, whether corona is there or it is spreading everywhere. But as a parent, I am with you, I will definitely take care of yourself, so it is not going to affect you. Your assurance is most important. Take time to talk with your child about the coronavirus outbreak. We are just showing them, we are just telling them this is happening all over, but we are not doing open communication with our child. We are not even telling the exact reality of this condition, so that they can also protect themselves. Limit your child's exposure to media coverage of the event. This is the main thing. No need to show your child each and everything is coming over the television. You need to set a routine of your child. You need to be aware what you need to show to your child. This is our duty. This we can only do, whether the child is at the early age or the child is teenager, but still this is the time we need to set a routine for our child. Involve your child in household activities. Even the young kids can get involved in the household activities. For example, if you are arranging some cupboard, or if you are arranging your room, that time you can take the help of your child, and you won't believe your child will feel more happy to help you out. If you are saying just give me this thing, I want to keep it here, so definitely your child will feel very, very happy that I am helping my mother, and they are going to share these things with their father or the persons who are available at home. And there are if the girls definitely love cooking, and if they are on that age, they are fireless cooking, we can involve our kids in that also. So it's totally on up to you how we are going to manage the time of the kids, which is fruitful for them. Dance, sing, or play together. Kids always enjoy the involvement of parents. Just play a music and do some moves with your child. Shake your body. Just see the happiness of the child, how much happy he is feeling. You will definitely feel at top of the world. Just play a game with your child. There are a hell lot of games are available which you can play with your child. Just be a kid with your child. Then see the happiness of your child. Help your child engage in fun and meaningful activities which are related to your cultural value. This is, although whenever if we are working, then we don't get sufficient time to spend with our child, to make them aware about cultural values, our heritage. So this is the best time you can tell them about it. You can teach them. Just see, there will be a lot of improvement. There will be a lot of change in your child. So our role is very much essential at this period of time. Basically, they need us. They need our support. They need our precious time. What they are facing nowadays, if there are like parents are fighting with each other on some topic, because now now the lockdown period is very long. So on some topics we are talking to each other very harshly, very rudely, and kids are here, we are not even noticing what they are getting from us. We should be aware about it, whatever situation is there, but it is affecting our kids. Remember, You are your child's most trusted news source, nothing else. No social media, no TV, no mobile, nothing. You are the only person who can give the actual and perfect information to your child. If we are relying on somebody, then we are just doing mistakes. Social distancing should not mean social isolation. Uh, this is well explained by Dr. KARI. So I'm totally agree with that. And I just want to ask the parents or the educators, don't use social distancing term. Just use physical distancing and explain them very well. Create a safe physical and emotional environment for your child. Still, it's on up to you. It's, as a parent, it's on up to me what I am going to show my child, what I am going to deliver my child in through my activities, and how I am going to utilize the time of my child in a proper way. Keep children busy. If you are going to if your child is feeling bored, if your child is having some time, and if he is asking something to you, and you are just giving mobile to your child and saying, okay, go and see this video, okay, go and just talk to your relative. So what you are doing, we are just making them, we are just keeping them away from us. We are not giving our time. So just set a routine and make them busy in some useful and fruitful activity. Then definitely they won't feel isolated. They won't feel there will be no fear or anxiety in their mind. So basically, this is the time they need our help. They need us. So I just want to ask every parent, talk to your child, do open communication with your child, set a routine for them, help your child to have a sense of structure, help your family engage in fun and meaningful activities, limit your child's exposure to unknown things and which are not good for your child. These are the ways basically we can help our child. VASAVVI, I think I have explained it. If you have any questions.
Yes, that was very well explained. I think these strategies are really going to work, Chitra. And yes, you are very correct about this, the signals that we send out, the overt and the covert signals that we keep sending out to our children, the negative messages at times. And this kind of, overwhelms them because they don't understand. They're not able to deal, they're not able to manage. And we keep on giving some negative signals from time to time, and that obviously the parents don't do knowingly, but we have to be very, very conscious about what we are actually portraying.
Yes,
because
we can do some activity. We can just give some activities to our child so that they can engage in them. I have some activities which I can tell you, like can improve reading and listening skills. Children are very good in cooking stories. Even in school, at home, they can cook stories by themselves. So if child is of younger age, you can tell your childhood stories. They will definitely enjoy. And if child is of the age where he can or she can read the books, or then you can provide some good material to them so that they can improve their reading skills as well, and they can understand something. Other than that, can do safe activities and just make yourself involved in that. That is like block building, clay modeling, art, etc. In through this you can actually notice some hidden talent also. Might be you are not aware about it, and maybe the kids are also not aware about it. So through this, if you are doing some different activities on daily basis, you will definitely come to know that yes, my child is very much good in this particular part, so now I have to involve my child in this activity. So this is the best time to noticing all these things. Look at photo albums and discuss family heritage. Earlier, when our time was there, we always click the photographs and just keep it in the photo albums. So just show it. Nowadays, we are just keeping in our laptop or in our mobile, and daily they are actually seeing these photographs. But you can show your family, like your grandparents, their grandparents, or some family functions photographs, photo album. This is the best time they can see and enjoy this. Can do some sensory activities to promote their learning and development. can do activities which help them to develop their gross and fine motor skills. Basically, in school, students always face some problems, zipping and unzipping of their dress, buttoning and unbuttoning, shoelaces. They always face the problem of tying shoelaces. So we can just this is the time when we can teach them all these things. Secondly, we can make them toilet trained. We can improve their food habits. It will definitely help them when they will go to the school in future. So at the end, I just want to say, just take care of them and just tell them how to take care of themselves and their belongings. So this we can just do this kind of actually activities and play a role in the life of our kid at present. Thank you.
That was lovely, Chitra. So I was just, looking at the points and the strategies that you had given, and they're really, I think they're going to work. And the parents who are there, and educators who've been watching us, I feel that it's going to really work. And now when we talk about, we are giving so many ideas to parents, we are giving so many ideas to educators, but now the important thing is about our mental health, what we are thinking, right? And what are we going through at this point of time? And so here I come to Ayesha, our next speaker, Ayesha Bach. So Ayesha, what would you suggest, how to keep children engaged and behave appropriately despite having the COVID take a toll on parents' mental health?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank you, and it is great to be with Miss Kari, Miss Kathy, and Miss Chitra. It's a wonderful platform, and I see a lot of parents communicating and talking about this. I would like to say, there are numerous ways to keep a child engaged, but it all boils down to one motive, which is predictability. As we humans are constantly aiming towards consistency and to a feeling that we know what comes next. I'd urge all the parents, be it of a neurodivergent or neurotypical child, to make a schedule, to follow through it and stick to it, as this would avoid chaos in the lives of the kids who definitely yearn to explore this beautiful world. So my first point would be predictability by creating a schedule. The second would be to engage with children in meaningful conversations. This is something which the past three speakers did talk about. And I would say that, assigning children we time, like, for example, you just give 1 hour, you'd be like, this is our circle time. You go to schools, all those places, they assign us a circle time. So you could have a family circle time as well. And in that, you will discuss about various topics, talk about the pressing issues such as climate change, racism, equality, and so much more. And I would please urge all the parents to not shy away, because you're bringing up the next generation. At times we shy, you shouldn't be talking about this topic. But, the more earlier, you inform a child about something, the more they will have acceptance towards it. So I would just like to state a quatrain of poem on raising children in a crumbling world by Nikita Gill. It says, it is a hard thing to raise a child with hope but authenticity, with imagination yet veracity, on a planet that is slowly beginning to sound less like Earth and more like war cry. So this brings me to the third point, which would be involvement of children in various activities, be it in household chores or indoor gardening. Enjoy with them. Bring out the child in you that you have suppressed, and trust me, you will find, a whole new experience unravel. And another important activity that you could include, which I am a ardent supporter of, would be mindfulness. There are various type of
Absolutely.
thousands of studies that support that mindfulness is involved in rewiring your brain. Its involvement, it changes your brain chemistry, everything. So I would say, the faster you get your child adapt to meditation and all those practices, he'll be more calmer, and this will help in bringing about a lot of changes, and it will help the parents as well to cope with the COVID-19. And like, there are various types of mindfulness training programs, namely formal and informal. There are thousands of studies. And if you want to read more about mindfulness, I would suggest The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which is my go-to book. I think it's a beautiful book written by the author. So lastly, I would urge all the parents parents to inform their kids about COVID-19. They are in the state of dissonance. So I consider the best way to educate them about this issue would be by reading them social stories curated by WHO and many others. One of my favorite is by Amanda McGuinness for kids with autism spectrum disorder, and it's beautifully done. And I feel like since I work with children with who are neurodivergent, so I feel like they are they're more able to pick, they're more able to understand through, because it's visually explanative. So that would really help the children to understand what is happening in the world. And I feel like we need to fill up the communication gap that has taken place between us, like as parents, and because most of the times we are working and the kids are in their own world. Now we need to gap it. We are getting the chance to bridge that gap which took place. I'll sum it up by saying, discover something new every day, even if it be a new method of threading a needle. That's a Japanese saying. But I would even like to focus on what parents are going through. We talk about kids all the time, kids are having this, but I would like to even focus on parents, because children try to mirror the behavior of their parents. If the parents are anxious, they will turn into being anxious. So I would say that precisely you need to face COVID. It is an acronym which is provided by Dr. Russ Harris, one of the proponents of ACT therapy, which stands for Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. For illustration, I'll request you to play a video which we have shared.
Yes, Darpan, you can play the video.
You can't control what happens in the future. You can't control coronavirus itself or the world economy or what other people do. And you can't magically control your thoughts and feelings. Fear, anxiety, and worry are inevitable. But you can control what you do here and now. So let's focus on that. A is for acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. Silently and kindly acknowledge whatever is showing up inside you, thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, sensations, urges. With curiosity, notice what's going on in your inner world. You might say to yourself, I am noticing feelings of anxiety, or I'm having thoughts about getting sick, or I'm having feelings of loneliness. And as you continue acknowledging your thoughts and feelings, bring in the next step, which is C, come back into your body. Find your own way of connecting with your physical body. For example, you might try slowly pressing your feet hard into the floor, or slowly pressing your fingertips together, slowly stretching your arms or your neck, or shrugging your shoulders, or slowly breathing. And as you acknowledge your thoughts and feelings and come back into your body, you then move to E, which is for engage in what you're doing. Get a sense of where you are here and now and refocus your attention on the activity at hand. Notice 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear. Notice what you can touch and taste and smell. Notice what you are doing and give your full attention to that activity. And then C is for committed action. This means effective action guided by your core values. Action you take because it's important to you, even if it brings up difficult thoughts and feelings. Of course, this includes following official guidelines on what to do during this crisis. But in addition, ask yourself regularly, what can I do right now, no matter how small it may be, that improves life for myself or others I live with or people in my community? And whatever the answer is, do it and engage in it fully. O is for opening up. This means making room for difficult feelings and being kind to yourself. As this crisis unfolds, we'll all feel fear, anxiety, anger, sadness, guilt, loneliness, and so on. We can't stop these painful feelings from arising, but we can open up and make room for them. Acknowledge they are normal, allow them to be there even though they hurt, and treat ourselves kindly. Consider what are kind words you can say to yourself and kind things you can do for yourself to help you cope with this suffering. V is for values. Committed action should be guided by your core values. What do you want to stand for in the face of this crisis? What sort of person do you want to be as you go through this? How do you want to treat yourself and others? Your values might include love, respect, humor, patience, courage, honesty, caring, openness, kindness, compassion, or numerous others. Look for ways to sprinkle your values into your day and let them guide and motivate your actions. I is for identify resources. Identify resources for help, assistance, support, and advice. This includes friends, family, neighbors, health professionals, and emergency services. Make sure you know the emergency helpline phone numbers, including those for psychological help if required. D is for disinfect and distance. Remember to disinfect regularly and practice physical distancing for the greater good of your community. Please run through the steps of Face COVID as often as you can, for the benefit of yourself, your loved ones, and all the people in your community.
Thank you, Ayesha, for sharing this. Some of our participants wants the link, so I'll be sharing with them.
Right. But I just need to add a few things. So I just hope like this video gave an insight, you know, how you can deal with COVID. One of the issues that I would really like to highlight is that please do not indulge in social comparison. Like we tend to compare ourselves constantly as we are more indulged in social media, and every time we see people putting up their post, you know, I did this while I am in I'm in lockdown, I did this, they are showing their accomplishments. So I think we are constantly in a rat race. We want to do something, and this in turn makes us sad that maybe at times I've seen a lot of people around me who are like, oh, we didn't do anything in our we didn't do anything in this lockdown, we feel so unproductive, we didn't do anything. So I would just say, I would request every
We've just lost Aisha's link, I think.
Yes, I think so. Anyway, I think we've almost come to the end of this discussion, and I see a few questions popping up. So let me take a few from here. There is one that that one question was for Ayesha, so we can just leave it till she joins back. And that is, can you give some examples of mindfulness exercise for children? So let Ayesha get back. And there is one more, which is about how can we use punishment effectively? Who would want to take that? How can we use punishment effectively?
Do you want to take it, Kathy, or would you like me to?
No, maybe we can both have a go, Kari. You go first.
I guess, are we talking about this time in COVID, or are we talking in general? Because for me, that would be there's two different things, because I think in the chat box, one of the points that has been made is that their misbehavior at this point in time. So children's misbehavior, and I guess I look at children's behavior as always a form of communication. So behavior is communicating something. And particularly at this point in time when we have been in lockdown, when basically we are in the unknown. This has been, the past 3 months has been unknown territory, uncharted territory. And I am not excusing poor behavior, but we need to look at where the behavior is coming from. So I would most probably say, I'd preface it with, look, absolutely, if they've hurt somebody, if they've bitten somebody, if they've done something wrong, yes, there's a way to deal with that behavior. But I most probably would look at what's the underlying cause at the moment. So if it was punishment, I'd most probably say, what are you hoping to achieve, and how can we do that best, particularly because we are in such different times now and we are locked down with each other. So if you are still in lockdown and these sorts of things are happening, there's a whole range of issues around that. Kath?
I'd like to add to what Kari said. I agree totally, Kari. Thanks for sharing. But I also would like to bring to everyone's attention that, as Kari said, behaviour is a form of communication, and children try to communicate their needs with us. So, you know, most children aren't articulate enough to say, you know, Mum, Dad, I'm feeling very frustrated today. Could you please help me with something? You know, they're not able to say that, so they will tend to lash out. They will hit somebody, they will do something. But what is it that they're trying to fulfill? What's the need here? Do they have the need to have more attention? Do they have the need to try and exert some power? Do they have this need to sort of get revenge for some reason? So you need to sort of look at how you are responding to the behaviours, and that sometimes indicates what is it that they're after? What is the need that these children are trying to fulfill? And often if we are starting to feel a bit irritated ourselves, it's generally because the children are after attention. And we know that because we start to get irritated because they're at us all the time because they want attention. So then give them attention. Fill that need, give them attention by either giving them a cuddle or giving them a job to do, or asking them to do something then saying what a great job they've done. Give them attention in a way that's going to work for you. If you think it's power, if they're after power, it's a power struggle, that's the need, you will start to feel a little bit defensive. So tap into yourself and acknowledge your own feelings before you respond to the children's behaviours. And think about the need that they're trying to fulfill. Now, if it's a power need that they're trying to fulfill, the best way to approach that is to offer a choice. So you can either have your bath first or you can put your clothes away. Which one do you want to do first? So it doesn't really matter to you which one is done first, but for the children, they will think that they've got the power. They're actually choosing what they're going to do. So that fulfills that need of power. So it's a win-win. It's not a power struggle, it's a win-win. So instead of using the term punishment, I would tend to use the term management, because we're trying to help children learn how to manage their behaviours. We're not trying to be like the outside person punishing the behaviours. We're trying to understand what's behind the behaviours and what the needs are that should be met. And once those needs are met, you'll find that children's behaviours settle, and that because they will feel acknowledged and noticed, and they'll feel valued and they'll feel loved. So try to think about that, like what's behind the behaviours? What are they trying to communicate? I hope that helps.
Thank you, Dr. Kathy and Kari. I think that answers the question. We'll take one last question. As an educator it's from Celine. She has written, as an educator of 18 months old with a room of up to 10 children, are there some good strategies to assist children with activities and play to assist them to not climb on tables and express themselves by hurting each other? My children tend to be very active and excitable, and it can be difficult to calm them down and engage them. So we take this question in 2 minutes because we are running out of time. So Who would want to address it?
Chitra, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I definitely want to take it. Basically, if we are going to say we are not doing anything with our kids and we are not involving ourselves with the kids, and we are just leaving them, okay, do whatever you want to do, or we are going to just give them the activity and we are just giving instructions, then definitely they will climb on the tables, they will run here and there, and they will do something which will definitely hurt them. So for this, your involvement is must. So do some energizer with them, do some fun activities with them. Definitely, if you are with them, they will definitely do the activities and show their involvement. They won't run here and there. But if you are not there, then even at home, as a mother, if we are saying something, then definitely our child is not listening at one point of time. They will go here and there, and what they are doing, we are not aware because we are not watching. So our involvement is necessary. So you should be there and try to do some fun activities and energizers. They will definitely get involved with you.
Yeah, and Celine, if you've written that you are involved with them most of the time, but yet they kind of behave in that manner. So what you can do is you can talk with them. Children they understand, they understand feelings. If you have difficulty, you can just make them sit and express yourself that this is actually not something that you're expecting and that you want them to behave in a different way. So probably if you talk it out, they can feel, they can understand your feeling. So we do a lot of things of understanding the feelings. We show this small smileys with mama is happy, so your good behavior and a happy thing, and basically some behavior charts and all. So probably that can also help, besides being involved with them, which you said you already are. So I think Ayesha has not been able to join in. I was just trying to get her. And before we wind up today's session, I would just want to say, we are coming up with another webinar on the 29th of this month. And yes, I wanted to share the screen. Yes, it's how to run and how to start and run a successful preschool brand. And our speakers will be Mr. Karthik Naidu and Mr. Anisul Haq. Mr. Karthik Naidu runs a preschool brand in Bangalore, India. And he's also a business franchise coach. And Mr. Anisul has, he's a brand consultant and enjoys a very good reputation in his work. So we invite you to join us on 29th of this month, which is a Monday from 4 to 4:45. We'll have that. And I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kathy, to KARI, to Chitra, and to Ayesha, who is right now not present with us, for your valuable time, for those valuable strategies, and the way I think these strategies muted. So this actually helps parents and educators to a very, very great extent, because we try to inculcate these, even what I've heard today from Dr. Kathy, from KARI, from Chitra, from Ayesha. I would try to, get that into a capsule and implement and see what works. How can we really work with children at this time of crisis? And I think we are doing pretty well. Yes, good times lay ahead, and with wonderful people like all of you, I think it's going to get easier to reach there, to the next level. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, VASAVVI. Thank you, my co-panelists. Thank you so much. It's really a wonderful time with everyone.
Thank you. And we wind up today's webinar. Any kind of questions, if you want to answer them, you can take those, Kathy and KARI, and even Chitra. So we had one question on mindfulness. Probably I'll just type out the answer and send it to Celine. I think she had given that question. Thank you so much. And bye from Ecdf platform. And we wish to have you again sometime soon. And do keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.